All right, are we ready? Are we ready? Is everybody ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fox Den, episode number 4. I'm going to continue to keep using episode numbers until I get a Rum Pure shirt or hoodie. Then it's going to be season 1, okay? But as of now, we're at episode 4. Let's see. Let's get into it. Quick review of last week. Last week, I gave out 2 free plays, both totals. UCF Tulane, I believe it was over 51.5. That one went over pretty nicely for us to get the dub. I got caught on a play that I actually won at 69.5, but I lost officially on here. I gave it out at 71.5 or 72.5. Either way, the total landed on 71. No, I didn't arbitrage or try to hit a middle there. I generally don't do that, but so 1-1 last week. We move on. Yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why they call it the present. All right. So we're going to move on. Season record now officially free plays to 2-1. We also have a future free play on Michigan. Michigan we bought at 8-1, already down to 7-1. So just by doing that, you're already gaining value. They're 17-point favorites, I think, 16, 17-point favorites this week at hosting Illinois. And obviously, if they win that, it'll probably drop to 5 or even 4. And then again, if they do happen to beat Ohio State, they'll be right there at 2-1. You'll have great value on that 8-1. So we still have that one out there hanging. Let's see here. We're going to give another free look ahead, called a little short future. This one a little shorter than the last one. We're going to give that, and we're going to give 2 free plays at the end of this card. Okay. First thing I want to start with today, I watched Fact Show yesterday. I always try to watch Fact Show, right? Like, why wouldn't you learn from that guy? Why wouldn't you glean everything you can glean off the facts, man? Here's what gets me, right? When somebody's calling him out on something, you don't have a ticket. You only bet 1,000. First of all, the guy bets more before noon on some days than most people will bet in their lifetime, legitimately. Okay, I've seen it. It's not. We're not pumping air here. He's getting questions kind of comical to me, actually. Like, it's 99% of the people that do this are doing it either as a side hustle, recreation, not professionally. Okay. If you go on Twitter, everything you see is about this book's banning the pros. This book's banning the sharps and the pros. 99% of their clientele is not that. Okay. He is that 1%. So we talked about it earlier with somebody, people question when you're questioning what we're saying. Number one, we're doing this for free. I don't get a wooden nickel. I don't think he gets a wooden nickel. We're doing this for Rum Pure Bets. We're doing this for Rum Pure Sports. We're trying to provide decent contact and help some people that are maybe new to it. When you're questioning, like, whether I have a line, I'll give you a perfect example. I have Western Kentucky this week at +7. I think it's at +5, 5.5 now. Oh, you don't have +7. Show me the ticket. No problem. Facts. You didn't bet 5 dimes on that game. Show me the ticket. Here's the new rule. We're here to help. We're here doing it for nothing. I'm not selling any plays. I'm just telling you some plays that I bet and telling you what I like this week. Trying to help people. I do not DFS. Do I mess with DFS? I don't. But Rum Pure Sports is where you want to go for that. These guys are beasts at that. I'm with Facts. I'm old school. I don't do just me. I don't do the DFS. I just do straight betting content here, and that's what the shows are going to be about. So make sure you catch their DFS shows on Run Pure Sports. They got great content and a lot of winners, by the way. So anyways, new rule. Okay, if you're questioning what me and Facts are telling you, you're really questioning our integrity. You wouldn't walk into my home here with my Buddha man and my fish back there. You wouldn't walk in here and be like, "You're lying. You don't have that game at 7," or Facts, "You're lying. You don't have." No, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't walk. So why do it over a computer, right? So if you want to question us, this is the new rule going forward. And I think Facts will back it tomorrow night on his show. If you want to question whether we have a ticket or not, if you question me, here's what you do. You wire $1,000 to Facts. Okay. I don't care if you use Visa, MasterCard, Amex, PayPal, Bitcoin, Sears charge card, Blockbuster card if you have one. You wire him $1,000. When he sends me a message and says, "Ray, I got a dime in my account," I'll screenshot the ticket to him, and he'll screenshot it to you, and then he can have the 1,000. He can go to the steakhouse once, twice. I don't care how many times. If you question him, same thing applies. You wire me 1,000. He'll send me the picture of it. We're not here to try to hustle anybody. I'm not here to try to be like, "I got this number." line value. I bet 2 games with awesome line value last week and got murdered on it. So that's the way it goes. I'm just buying value because that's the way I bet. I bet early lines. It's my method. We'll talk about it a little bit more later in the show. But that's the new rule. If you want to question our integrity, you got – what did they say in Rocky 1? Anybody here a Rocky 1 fan? Because somebody's got to be a Rocky 1 fan. If you want to dance, you got to pay the band. If you want to play, you got to pay the man. So if you're going to question us, you're going to question our integrity, then you're going to have to go ahead and wire the money and take the L, because it's going to be an L train for you every single time. I promise you. We're here to help, not here to show off. I don't get paid for it. Okay? I got a job. So we got that out of the way. Let's start talking some college football, okay? We got a good week this week. I made a number of plays as I normally do. All of my work was done by Sunday, maybe 7 o'clock at night, around then. The Green Bay-Dallas game was still going. I think I was looking up totals at that time. You guys know that I do use an algorithm that produces a document that looks like that, okay? And that's my ratings. Everything else I do is by hand, okay? So I don't know how the light's going to show it, but everything I do is by hand. I know it's hard to read the writing, but I write in every game. I write in the records of the 2 teams. I write in my ratings, and then eventually my line. And then the final thing I'll write in is the opener. And once the game opens, I plow those down, and I've already got probably maybe 10 to 15 games I'm looking at because of what I saw in last week's contest, what I saw the day before in the box score, some false yardage numbers, misleading finals, team loses by 10 and outgains the other team by 180 yards, anomalies, random variance. Okay. We talked about losing the Oregon. I lost on the Oregon on here. I lost on the Oregon Washington total last week at 72 and a half, I think, when at 71. Each team turned the ball over inside their opponent's 5 once. So you had 2 turnovers inside the 5. Well, everybody can pretty much calculate the odds of getting 3 points when you're inside the 5 2 times is pretty likely. Well, that turns a loss into a win, right? Didn't happen this time. They turn it over. That's variance, right? We can't control variance. All we can control is our numbers, our handicapping. The variance end is going to work out. One time I'm going to have a bad play, and some random fumble recovery for a touchdown is going to help me win it. It comes and it goes. Never too high, never too low. That's a big key in this business. Never too high, never too low. But I had all my work done. I got some plays in. I didn't get all the best of the numbers this week. A couple of them actually slid against me, which helps the Run Pure Bets viewers out there. All the loyal listeners, as I like to call yous. And by the way, rocking the vintage Pirate 70s lid. And, of course, you got to give it up for Say Watt coming back in the mix, gets a little team dub. They're like 101 when he starts and like 1 in 100 when he doesn't. So I got in, I don't know, about 9 plays this week, it looks like. I'm going to give you 2 of those. They're the plays for this week. And then I'm also going to give you a conference championship game that's opened. I think they've opened 2 of them now, but I was looking at one, looking at one in particular. So college football slate, again, it's way better if people get on here and ask questions. Ask me what do your ratings say on a game? Who do you like in this matchup? Sometimes with my numbers, so I'm looking for a number advantage, right? That's always step 1, but it's not always the final step, right? If you could read my book here, you'll see on the side a lot of them play at 3 or better, play at 7 or better, play at 6 or better, play at 13 or better. So I'm keying on key numbers, obviously, and that's what you do when you bet openers, right? If you can bet a game at -2.5 and it goes to 4, that you're getting a lot of. Doesn't mean you're going to win. It just means that game has a high probability of landing on 3. That's why it's called a key number. If we're going to get the good side of a 3, the good side of a 6, the good side of a 7, a 10, a 14, a 13, that's just going to help you. It's never going to hurt you, and it's only going to help you. You don't have to buy it down by buying the opener. Now, I had some notes here too, and everybody talks about limits and all that, and some of the traps you can run into, right, with playing the new expanded legal marketplace, right? Your bookie never used to line up same game parlays for you, did he? If a casino, if you're playing blackjack and you're sitting on 20 and the dealer's showing a 7 or an 8 or whatever, and the dealer goes, you should hit right here. This is the right thing to do, is to hit. Are you going to hit? No, you're not going to hit. You're going to stand pat and probably win the hand. Not 90% of the time, whatever it is. I'm not a blackjack player, but I know that much about it. So when a sports book tells you, look at this sweet correlated same game parlay. We got it. It's all set up for you. It's all set. You don't even have to select. I mean, God forbid you might look and find a number with some value in it. We're just going to give you the ones that we like. And we want you to go ahead and hammer the button on that one. Just, it's so easy. Just press one button. It's a bet. That's the kind of stuff you definitely want to be leery of, right? I'm not a parlay guy. I'm not a big parlay guy. I make a few a year, maybe just for fun, maybe a couple big underdogs tied together. But in general, I think you need to kind of stay away from that sort of thing. It's just they're feeding it to you for a reason, right? So I stay in straight games. Discipline. Okay, I'm staying 2 to 5%. That's why if I have a week where I drop 3 units, I'm not losing my mind. My number's always changing, my bet amount, but the percentage never is. So if I'm winning more, my bets are getting bigger. If I'm losing, my bets are getting smaller. Putting the same 2 to 5% is my deal. Take your shots. Occasionally, there's nice to take a shot, right? Take a shot every now and again. But for my everyday stuff, that's kind of what I do. And what that means is, if you've got $1,000 in an account, you should be betting $50 a game. Now, I know people don't want to do that, right? They want to get 1,000 in there and make $900 bets the first day, and then wonder why their account's drained. So discipline is obviously key in that. And I'm always and that's one of the things that it took me a while to learn, and that's what really was an impediment. It was a stone in the road for me getting better, was just understanding the discipline of playing the numbers, not caring about what's on the front or the back of the jersey, care about the numbers related to the team. So that's how I'm always going to do it. That's just my method. Again, I bet openers. There's tons of other ways to do it. But, I look at my card this week. I have some 2s and 3s, a 6.5, a 7. And those have all crossed over key numbers. So, but again, I didn't get the best of every number this week. And rarely do I, obviously. But I do get it by betting openers. One of the things, when there's just a new topic this week, we're going with mailbag. I did have some people DM me, message me, email me, asking some questions this week. So I wanted to go over the mailbag questions with you. Maybe it helps you. I hope it does. Messenger questions. Let's see here. How do you do early weeks in the year with no data or history? That's from Cal in Philly. Cal, how do I do it? So everybody uses the same Bible, right? Phil Steele's the Bible for college football. The books use it. The bettors use it. The sharps use it. The public uses it. Everybody uses it. So that can be beneficial at times, right? Because Phil Steele's tremendously good at putting out a preseason publication. I'd say he's the best for a number of years now, maybe more than a decade even, maybe 2 decades. Phil Steele does a great job, but Phil Steele himself will admit he doesn't hit 100%, right? What I do is I always keep a running tally of a 5-year rating for a team. So I've got the last 5 years, and then I've got a break in there if there's a coaching change, right? So Dabo took over at Clemson inconsequential, ACC inconsequential nationally. If you looked at their data the previous 5 years, it might indicate the next couple years, but he changed the culture, right? So I think he had 19 wins in 4 years, and then he went on to have, this will be his 11th consecutive double-digit win season this year for Clemson. So culture change, that's the break in the line. But when a team has a historic rating, they haven't changed coaches, what are they going to – I mean, they might land a Mike Vick, right? That's a program changer, right? But that doesn't happen very often. So, I think it was Iowa State last year. Everybody was high on Iowa State. I just kept looking at their historical rating, and I'm like, fading some of that stuff early can be good. People were really high on Clemson's offense last year. If you actually look at what they did, under team total early on them was a nice train to ride. Well, and it lasted a good bit too. They lost a lot of talent to the NFL draft, right? Well, when you string together that many double-digit win seasons, people are like, well, he just reloads, Well, you can reload to a point, but sometimes it's going to catch up to you, and it did. So I fade a lot of times if I have an opinion against a Phil Steele or the public, the ESPN. If I have an opinion that goes contrary to it, I can get some value there. But I'm like a 3-bet guy on the first few weeks. I'm betting some of my opinions on a rating of a team going up or down. But I tread light early. The stat site that I pull my data from does not include 1AA games. And don't start yelling at me, FCS, BFS, BCF, whatever it is. Okay, Division I, Division I AA, Division II, Division III. That's football. Call it what you want. Okay, so they don't include stats from 1AA. And that's important early in the year, right? Somebody opens up with 2 cupcakes out of the 1AA. Not that there's not that many cupcakes anymore. A lot of these 1AA programs are winning. I think Holy Cross beat Buffalo to start the year. So I'm going to look at that and I'm going to try to fade some of that some of that early season steam that the publications produce. And I'm going to tread lightly, basically. But the stat site I use does not include 1AA data. So sometimes it's not till about the 5th week that my data starts to look good to me or even remotely reliable, because it can be like this, right? Couple of weak opponents, couple of tune-up games, so to speak, and all of a sudden it's the greatest stat team in the world on my rating system. And we all know it's got to be dialed way back. It's got to be hedged back. And so, but that's how I do it early in the season, Cal. I tread lightly. I wait till my data's strong. I play some contrary opinions to the major publications. And I back and fade a couple of teams that I might have formed an opinion on, looking at that. Next question I got was, it seems like you favor overs. I always heard sharps play the unders. Sharps play the unders, huh? That's amazing. They must always win if they do that, huh? I'm going to start doing that. I do play unders. That was, I'm sorry, that was from Clark from Miami. Clark from Miami, appreciate you. I hope you're down there on South Beach staying tan, buddy. That is a pretty nice place to be this time of year. I think it's about 28 outside my window here. So sharps play unders. Sharps play unders. So the reason you're seeing me, and I'll give out another one today, is playing overs, is because I'm betting opening numbers. So if you're going to bet an over, you're probably going to get the best of it betting the opening number. Why is that? Because as the game time approaches, how many fans? I love defense, right? Love it. Give me a 13-6 game any day. Everybody hates it. I love it. I love watching great defenses, like watching like it's perfectly orchestrated. It's like a Rolling Stones concert from the front row. It really is. It's just everything's perfect, and it's loud and it's violent and it gets after it. But in looking at that, people don't like to see games like that. And if they're going to sit down and they look at TV and this Oregon Washington game's coming on, okay, I don't want to see points in that game. No, points. People want to see points. People tend to want to see overs. They find it hard to see a path to the under, right? What sharps that do bet unders know is that the game starts under. So they got to beat you. Okay, if you have the over, you got to beat them. So big difference. I bet overs early because, again, I'm almost always getting the best end of that number. It too play an over. I do play unders. Generally, if I'm going to play an under, it's going to be within 10 minutes of the start time. That's when you tend to get the best values on your under, Clark. So overs play early, unders play late. Okay, and you're going to see that's going to hold pretty consistent. You're not going to get beat on a bad number generally when you do that. And I do play unders, mind you. I really love unders in baseball, actually, and I learned that from some of the baseball guys on Run Pure. They'll keep you in tune in baseball. Well, will your plays be available to Run Pure subscribers? That one's from Bernard in the Big Apple, New York City. Bernard, thank you for the question, my man. I appreciate you. So here's the deal with my plays being available on Run Pure to their subscribers. Number one, there's my Twitter handle right there on the corner of the screen of the broadcast. DM me. My box is open. You want to know my plays? I'll give you my plays every week. What do I care? What are you going to do? Make fun of me? Bet them? Fade them? Put them on paper in your bird cage on the bottom of your bird cage? I don't care. Okay. But I'll tell you what they are if anybody wants to know. And I could just slide this off and be like, you guys need to talk to JJ about that. Pump it up, right? I don't honestly, I don't even want to do them in a selling a pick format, because I'm literally sitting here watching games pop, and I've got my phone, I've got my book, I've got everything, and I'm looking at everything, and as a game pops, it's a kind of a quick yes or no. If you looked at my book again, the majority, 70% of the game have X's next to it. That means my data lined up with the book. I don't have any position on the game because I basically agree with the number. I agree with the book. So if I were to try to do that, how am I going to do that, right? So I might get 5 lines might pop earlier than others, right, in bigger games, right, where they know the status of the teams. So those games pop, and maybe I play one of those, and then a bunch more pop, and I play 4 of those, and then the rest pop, and I play 2 more, and then I have to wait an hour or 2 for the totals to come out. Then I play 2 of those, right? So I'd be sending them to JJ, which I did this last week just to kind of walk him through, being new to Run Pure. I wanted him to understand how I handicap games so that he could see kind of what I was doing. how I was doing it, and by sending them the texts and pictures of plays and that. And that's what I do for my family, my friends, anybody that asks for them. My plays this week are right here. Click, and I'll send it to you. Easy as that. Okay. I think trying to put it on a service, here's what's going to happen if he puts it on there. Now, look, you already see what he does to facts, right? I mean, he's holding plays back. He's bartering numbers. I mean, that's between them. I'm going to definitely see my way out of it, but I had to mention it because that got heated the other night. It was good though. It was must watch YouTube. So if you want to watch that Friday night, Facts and JJ, it's well worth your time. So anyways, I give a game to somebody at 6.5. It's at 7.5 in 5 minutes. Is it 7.5? Because I bet it. No, not at all. I'm not. I don't play as much as Facts does. I'm telling you, these guys in a different stratosphere. But if you're running a book, and when I did it with Bookmaker, the Bookmaker was pretty sharp. They had guys that knew what they were doing. They weren't copy and pasting stuff. It didn't matter how much you bet. Okay, in terms of if pregame betting doesn't have an advantage, then why are the limits lower? Why can I bet less on an opener than I can Saturday morning before the game goes? Because the line's been ironed out. It's moved from 6.5 to 8. Okay. And if I like the 6.5, my stand's on the 6.5 side, I got the best of the number, but they're not going to let me beat them up for the same amount that I can play it. Not that I'm a max bet guy, but if I were, or I was giving this information to a max bet guy, he can't get down the same amount on opening day, Sunday, prior, than he's going to be able to get right before the game. Okay. So what would I do? I would send them in the number. By the time he posts them, the numbers are going to change. Right. And then what? He looks like he's selling orange futures in a frost climate. I mean, it's silly. So I make it real easy. It's free. It's free. Support Rum Pure, support Rum Pure Sports, support Rum Pure Bets. They have a business. They have picks that the way they do it, they're able to give it to you at a sustained line that's available across the market. Go on Twitter. You'll see the guys. I like this game at 6.5. You go on there, it's 8. It's 8 across the board. There's not even a 6.5 that ever showed. Again, if somebody doesn't believe I got 7, not that it's any smash on the number, but I got South Alabama this week, 6.5. Okay. I checked it on Monday night. It was at 7.5. Who knows? Maybe it comes back to 5. I don't know. Maybe Billy Walters steams it 8 ways to Sunday. Don't know. I got my 6.5. It went to that number. It gets too volatile to try to give it out to people at that early stage. And how many of you guys would really want to thank you, living the dream? Buddha's the man. I was going to rub his belly a little there, get a little belly rub. So who really wants to be sitting there Sunday waiting for my plays when basically, I'm sitting here saying you can have them for free. If you want them, DM me Sunday. You might get closer to the number. You might go 2-8, you might go 8-10, you might go 20-2. I'm doing it. I've been doing it a long time. Over the course of the season, again, this is a business where guys talk about hitting 67% over 3 years. Why are you even on social media? If I hit 67% over the next 3 years, I'm going to be in some penthouse with some social media guy sending out my tweets. If anybody is, I probably wouldn't even want to be near Twitter or anything else. Have so much money. So it's dicey to try to have a pick that you sell a package to and say, here's my plays, but I can't get any of those numbers. So what am I paying for? You want them? Ask me for them. I'll give them to you. Family and friends ask for it. All I do, phone, screenshot. It's real simple. It's the back page, the last game of lines. And that's where I start writing them. And I stop when I'm done. And that's what I play for the week. And I just ride the rest of the week out, to be honest with you, and see where the lines go. So let's see here. We talked about single game parlays. Stay away from them. There's no way they're giving them to you because they're to your advantage. Don't ever think the size of the bet determines a sharp bet. Sharps come in all shapes and sizes, right? There's guys betting into Circa and betting into these places in Vegas that hang openers, and they don't have to walk up there. And what's the limit anyway? I don't know, and I don't want to quote what limits are anywhere else because I'm not living in Vegas currently, but their limit will be one thing when they open on Sunday, and it will be another thing when the game on Saturday morning. Okay, that's the business. They're trying to iron out any, they got tons of games they're looking at too. They know that they can get a soft number out there, but they're still letting you bet into it. Okay. If the same guy comes up every Saturday and, one of their guys at Circa, Jeff, whoever, I see Jeff Benson on Twitter a lot. So, and he makes me laugh a lot. So anyways, go on there and he sees the same guy come up and he's a nickel better, right? He's not going to sway anybody. That money's not going to move any number, but he always gets the better end of the number. The bookmaker and odds maker see that he generally wins more than he loses. They're going to respect his action. And that's truly what a sharp is, right? A sharp isn't the guy with all the bling rolling up in the sports book, throwing hundies to every cocktail server. What's the max bet? That guy, that guy's great. He could be a sharp. I don't know. But the guy betting it Saturday morning is betting an ironed out line. Okay. The guy betting it on Sunday, the week of, is a guy that's done work and he feels like he can take a position against the book, right? So that's kind of where I'm getting at with betting openers. I obviously have an advantage because they don't let me bet as much. Not that I max bet, but they don't let me bet as much on the opener as they do on the day of number. There has to be something there, right? That's what led me to doing it. That's why I do it. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's how I'm going to do it. Shout out to Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Greyfox. I swear I hope this thing is airing like silky smooth right now. I have no idea if it's breaking up. I apologize. I'll be so sad. I have plugged up to this thing right now the Victra Orbix Speed 5G UW jetpack. It's a jetpack, dude. So if this isn't working and I got to drive to the top of the mountain to film the next show, then you'll see me at the top of the mountain. It'll be real good then. We'll find a moonshine still to sit out while we're doing it and make it even more entertaining. I think I covered everything I was looking at. Any questions? Nobody's got questions. I love questions. Again, if you want plays, got the dome piece trimmed up, got the face trimmed up. Shot a buck on Saturday. Probably just my viewers are probably cut in half because I just talked about hunting on the sports show, but that's how we eat. We some of the best protein we eat around here. We try to get 2 deer a year, feed the family. It's good. And got one Saturday. Always get cleaned up after you get one. So, God, if this thing's not running smooth right now, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't believe JJ's not sending me some reassurances. My tech guy. So shout out to Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Greyfox. She busted tail. Verizon's horrible to deal with, and the store is literally 100 feet from her work. And it's Verizon. Anyways, on to the plays. Okay, 2 plays for this week. Current record on official plays is 2-1. We're going back Northern Illinois, and I believe that's a Thursday game. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. It's coming up. Fax is probably may or may not touch on this game as well. We don't care if he gives one and I give the other. We're not in cahoots, and we're not going to, we're just doing our own thing. We're just happen to be doing it together. Since we are Run Pure Bets now, right? No shirt though, no hoodie. We're taking Northern Illinois -1.5. Let's see if I have any notes here. I was a game I had starred. Not too spectacular teams here, and this is something I've really tried to stay away from. And I caught it like 2 years ago, where I'd back a bad team just because the numbers said to back them. Right? There's 4 and 6 bad, there's 3 and 7 bad, and there's 1 and 8 bad. And what I caught myself doing is expecting a 1 and 8 team to even play up to a level that they might consistently have. It was bad. It was stupid. I was catching these little mistakes every week, and I said that I'm done. So again, this is no star-studded matchup. Miami, Ohio at Northern Illinois. The ratings are so far separate, though. I mean, that my line wasn't even coming. My line was much higher on Northern Illinois. And I try to check a lot of the injuries and stuff like that. I may miss it sometimes. I use a couple different sites. Dom Best and I think Covers is one of them. I got it's on my phone. So Northern Illinois, and that went to, I think, 3. Well, 1.5. I got a 1.5. So Northern Illinois 1.5 is your first play. I don't have the current in front of me right now. The second one I had is a total play. Over 51 and a half. Over 51 and a half Cincinnati Temple. Again, had this game start as an over game. There's been numbers lately with these two teams that just make me think that weather's not terrible. Sunny in Philadelphia that day, high of 40, low of 28. You're talking about Cincinnati and Temple. Neither one's a warm weather team, so I don't anticipate weather to be an issue. Sunny was the forecast. 51 and a half. My numbers called it a little higher. I think I had it at about 55, 54 and a half, 55. So 51 and a half, over 51 and a half Cincinnati Temple, second official best bet. The final one is the mini future, right? So they popped the Clemson UNC ACC championship since that's set, I guess, in stone. Clemson at -6 was the number that I got. I think it was a 6.5, and I don't know if I didn't see the open on it. I actually saw somebody post a picture of the odds, and that's what made me look to it. But I bought Clemson at -6. This is one of the classic examples of where my numbers actually call. My numbers were dead on with the book. In other words, I agree with the bookmaker. If it was a week in, week out game, it might even get an X, and I might just move on from it. It's not. Okay, it's not. It's the ACC championship game, right? One team, like I said, has been consistent, has been winning double digits every year, has been getting used to playing in this game, obviously. Pitt was your defending ACC champion last year, but Clemson had just had a year to be expected after getting heavily beat up by the draft. But I played Clemson -6 over UNC, and that's again, agree with the number. Don't have a huge any big math advantage here. But what I do like is the experience of the Clemson team. So UNC, Mac Brown, actually no Mac Brown. Caddied for Mac Brown probably 100 times if I've caddied for him once. Really good guy. Caddied for him the day before my son was born. And I came back to caddy for him in a pro-am 6 days later after my son was born, and he was real nice about it. Signed a scorecard. He was with Texas at the time, head coach of Texas. In a burnt orange marker, he signed a scorecard from the course, blank scorecard. He said, to my son's name, happy birthday. Hope to see you in 18 years. Hook 'em horns. Mac Brown. Cool dude. Mac Brown's a good football coach. Mac Brown's been to big games. So I don't expect UNC to be, necessarily run over in the coaching department by any means. Mac Brown's a good man and a good coach. But I think this Clemson team is just more attuned to the bright lights in big city. So it's just a position game, right? It's a position game. I'm willing to take a stand on a fair number, right? No math advantage. I just like Clemson -6. I think the experience gets the job done. Let's see. Northern Illinois -1.5, over 51.5. Cincinnati Temple, Clemson -6. Just me. How good are you doing? I totally forget to type these things in. Hey, me and Fax, we're old school. You see it, notebook, paper, it's pens. One thing I print out an alpha list and a numerical on my college ratings. And again, that's where I can help answer questions. If you're like, I'm on the fence on this game. Okay. All I can tell you is what my ratings say. There's probably 10 games that I had looks at this week that I passed on. They eventually ended up getting the X. Maybe 60-70% gets the X right out of the gate on Sunday. Then I just sift through a bunch of games, and that's where I try to find the ones with the most value. So anytime you have a question, my DM is open, at Ray Greyfox on Twitter. Looking at the future, I definitely will break the record in ums. I told Fax, I said, I had a public speaking class, and I managed to do like a 15-minute speech without one. 15-minute speech without an I'm gonna break the world record. And I said, oh wait, that was 35 years ago in college, whatever, 35 years ago I was in college. So that public speaking class probably worn off by now. So I got to work on the ums a little bit. So we want to talk about Faxman. Faxman, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, must see YouTube. He quadruples 10 times me in viewers. His comment stream flows like just like a stream. I mean, it's beautiful. That's what we want to try to do on this show, and we're trying to help people. That's what we're here for. So I'm not as good a storyteller as he is, but we both are handicappers. Together we have over 80 years, I think, combined doing this. So Faxman Wednesday, you'll get him tomorrow. You need to tune into your Run Pure Sports. Somebody asked earlier about DFS. DFS, just me, you definitely want to be in touch with the Run Pure Sports crowd there. They do stuff, pound content out. So Run Pure Sports, Run Pure Bets. I gave you 2 for this week, 1 for the ACC championship, and we have Michigan hanging out there at 8-1. So that's the pending plays. Other than that, going to close out the show. If there's no more questions, I don't see any. One thought to close out. A lot of friends, a lot of guys I grew up with. Actually, one of them played for UVA. I just want to close with Hokies for Who's. Hokies for Who's. Thanks for watching.